Good afternoon, this is Riesen with Jon Lancaster Toyota in Madison, Wisconsin, coming to you from a 2012 Toyota Camry. I'm sitting in an SE with Entune, and today I want to tell you about Entune and some of the things that it does. I should probably say this is more of a discussion about the new display audio system, which has some functionalities in addition to the Entune system. And Entune, of course, is the ability to link your phone to the car, share your cell phone, so your smartphone's data plan with the car, and then power some features that are, well, let me just show you what they are. These features include things like weather search for local weather conditions, forecast, current conditions, and a radar picture. We can find sports scores, we can find stock information, we can link a Pandora account to our Entune system, and we can play Pandora right over the radio, have all the controls for Pandora on screen, and then we have Bing search engine integrated into the car, and that's a point of interest search engine. So when you're searching for a business on the navigation system, Bing gives you more up-to-date search results. So for example, when you search for business XYZ in Bing, you would know that the information, the phone number, the address, they're more current. So the need to update the nav system may not be as relevant as it would be traditionally. But I want to tell you a little bit about what the system can do in addition to these Entune features. And we'll start out with the setup button on the top right. And setup, of course, is where we're going to pair the Bluetooth on my iPhone in just a moment. But there's some really cool things under the vehicle button. Everybody knows that most cars these days lock the doors as soon as you start driving. Well, it could be either when you shift the car into gear from park, or when you reach a certain speed. And it's really interesting. This system lets us select locking the doors by a speed of the car. We can lock the doors when we shift from park or shift back into park. But there's some neat things too. So for example, we can choose whether the remote keyless entry unlocks the doors if we push the unlock button 2 times or just 1 time. And we can choose how loud that Toyota Camry feedback tone is. So that's the familiar beep and beep beep when you lock or unlock the doors. We can adjust the volume. Page 2. Check this out. I can choose how sensitive the automatic headlights are to turn the headlights on. So I can choose, for example, if the lights come on just a cloudy day when it's relatively bright. I can choose, so I should tell you that's a transition from daytime running lights to headlights, the key being we're going to turn the taillights on in addition with the normal headlights. But point is, I can select how sensitive that system is to turning the headlights on from just a daytime running light mode. I can choose how long the headlights stay on, so that's a courtesy timer when I turn the car off. And I can turn the daytime running lights themselves off. And so that's relevant because if I'm running in just parking light mode, for example, just the amber lights up front and the red lights out back, I can choose whether or not the daytime running lights run, and those are like the low wattage high beams. Additionally, I could choose run with no daytime running lights at all, just by turning the daytime running lights off here. So these settings are under Setup on the top right in the Vehicle tab. I've got a button for the phone. Under the phone, I can select ringtones, and this is kind of neat. I can choose whether it uses the ringtone that's already built into my phone, or I can choose some of these preset ringtones that are built into the car. So there's essentially 6 options, including no ringtone at all. BlackBerry, I understand, has the functionality of this. I can have this thing pop up in information when I get a new message or email. So those are under Phone, under the Setup tab. Bluetooth we'll get to when I pair my iPhone, and I've got some general setup here. Under the General button, language, whether the beep that you hear as I press the buttons is on or off, and then deleting personal data just blows out all the information from my cell phone. Because this has got sweet functionality in terms of pulling all of my phone book data into the car, and it's very easy to refresh it. So if you often add contacts, you can pull them back in pretty easily. We would do that there. So audio was HD radio settings. One beautiful thing about the Entune system is when you go up and you move up from the base audio, so just display audio, AM, FM, CD, USB port, and Bluetooth, that's display, that's on a Camry LE. When you get to an SE or an XLE or a Camry Hybrid, you have the option of 3 different Entune systems, and I'm dealing with the first 2. So this specifically is Entune with JBL, but other than that 10-speaker JBL stereo, Entune 1 and 2 are essentially the same machine. Again, the difference being the JBL stereo with amplified speakers, 10 speakers. Very, very nice stereo. But, so that's some of the functionality. Check out how well a phone will integrate into the system. So I'm going to hit the Bluetooth tab, and I have options. I can search for a device, I can make the system discoverable, I can see paired device lists, and this is useful if I want to switch between my phone and my wife's phone. I can set the pin, which is set to 4 zeros, which is pretty standard if you've got an Android phone. And I can choose to turn the internet connection on or off for my smartphone, and that's for the Entune services. So I'm going to make this one discoverable, and there's a pin shown. I'm going to go to my iPhone and settings. I have to be on the Bluetooth, and eventually I find it. I touch on Car Multimedia on the screen there. I apologize, it's being whited out. It says, would you like to pair the iPhone? Pair. And on the screen, I'm going to hit accept. And that's it. I'm paired. The phone screen is what comes up first. And that's great and all, but here's what the phone screen is going to do. It's going to allow me to dial by number. It's going to allow me to see my contacts. And what's happening as we speak is it's pulling all my information. So not just phone book entries, but it's also going to show call history. So again, it's pulling 750 contacts off of my iPhone. It's going to load them right there on the screen. And as soon as that's done, I will show you the call history as well. And that's pretty boss. With this Bluetooth system, I have a talk switch here on the steering wheel. And with that talk switch, I can hit the button, the car listens, and the command to make a phone call is simply call. And then you follow it with a name. So for example, if I was going to call my wife, I would say, call Abby Riesen. And it will go into that phone book, and it will find Abby Riesen, just as it's listed there. So I'm in the phone book. Everything is listed. And so everybody's in there. Great. I can set speed dials, so I have one-touch dialing. So I'll have a bunch of speed dials I can set here. But let's go back over to call history. And everybody that I've called recently is here. And from the steering wheel controls, I can actually thumb down through those phones, or through these phone numbers, and just push the button to dial them. But that's fun and all, but watch this. Call Abby Riesen.
Select a line number, or say correction.
1.
Line 1. Abby Riesen, mobile. Dialing.
And that's it. It makes the phone call. So that's the functionality of the phone. Let me show you some pretty cool things on the radio. So on the radio, the sources I have are, of course, AM, FM, satellite radio, Bluetooth from my cell phone, or Bluetooth streaming audio from my cell phone, and then I have a CD player, and I've got USB functionality as well. I'm going to get to the USB, but this is pretty cool. So I'm going to select Bluetooth, and it's going to start playing music. And this is all coming right off of my cell phone. And the difference here is that in order to change tracks, I can do it from the steering wheel switches. So I can use the steering wheel controls to change tracks. So I can also do it on my iPhone. So if you've got a trillion songs, you may not necessarily want to, come over here and select the song, or what. I'm sorry, you may not want to do it on the steering wheel. You might want to do it here on the screen. But watch what happens when I select the song. There it's displayed the album art, and it's also displayed there on the screen. And I'm doing this wirelessly, mind you. So this is all streaming audio. I'm not even cabled in yet. But when you do want to cable in, here's the beauty of it. So I've got my cable here, and I'm just going to plug it in really quick. And I want you to see, if you look up on the screen, right now it says Bluetooth. And so I'm just going to plug this thing in, and it's going to seamlessly go from Bluetooth streaming audio to iPod. I didn't even lose my place in the song. Everything happens the same. If we were actually playing music, you'd notice a difference in sound quality. So when I'm streaming Bluetooth, I'm doing it wirelessly, so it's kind of like a radio thing transmitting to the car. But when I'm cabled in, I'm getting a digital connection between the car and the phone, and I get a little better sound quality. Really, really, really nice functionality. Check this out. List. So there's only one song in that specific one, so if I go to browse, then I can say artists, albums, whatever. Or, if I really want to be cool guy, I can hit the talk switch, play Dave Matthews Band.
Select a line number, or say correction.
1.
Line 1. Select a line number, or say correction.
1.
Line 1. Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds, playing song, Ahi.
That's it. If you get tired of all the music on your iPod, go to FM radio. Or go to satellite radio. Satellite radio is integrated. But with the FM radio, you get HD radio. So when you see the multicast button illuminate, there's one of 3 stations available. So I push the multicast button, I go to 2, and I go over to 3. So that's a brief description of the functionality of the Entune system outside of the data. And of course the data is over here. If I hit apps, the weather comes up, and this is all powered by my cell phone. The Bing search engine, I could type in whatever it is I'm looking for. I could type in whatever it is I'm looking for, selecting my iPhone for the internet data. So connect for internet. And I unfortunately am a Sprint customer. Sorry Sprint, but your service is kind of slow. Oh, very, very important move here. This is actually great to see that. If you run into that where it says, hey, this doesn't work, just launch the Entune app. So let's find my Entune app. And once you launch it, you can connect to the car. And you can also play with those apps just the same if you're not connected to the car. But once you launch this thing and you connect to it, so I'm going to hit connect to vehicle, shares my data, the car asks me to confirm it, I say yes, and away we go. So we are connected for the internet, and now that's going to power all those apps right from my phone. And there you have it. So we can see forecast, we can see radar map, and this is probably one of my favorite functionalities of the Entune, but we can see all of these things. So YouTube is going to whack me in my time limit. I'll do another video, show you a little bit more functionality of the Entune, but this is Entune, head unit 2 or 3. This happens to be 3 with JBL audio. And my name is Nate Riesen from Jon Lancaster in Madison, Wisconsin. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.